Hello, how you guys doing today? Hey, welcome in. I'm gonna give you a few seconds for people to jump on the live if you do. And while you're coming in, drop where you're watching from in the comments. And are you having a good day? Are you having a good week? Um, how's the weather? All that stuff. So while we wait, I want to talk about something real quick. A lot of people are using AI wrong. They type in basic prompts and getting basic answers and then saying AI doesn't work for them. And that's like buying a gym membership and only using the parking lot, not no, it seemed logic as not knowing you could actually go inside the gym and get results, not knowing you when you show up to use AI, you can actually get results because you might not get the results, right? You'd have to understand how to prompt, right? So, um, what I do and what I teach at Promptify is prompt engineering. That sounds complicated, but it literally just means knowing how to talk to AI. So, excuse me. So it gives you something you can actually use. So, just give me a moment. Excuse me on that. Today I'm going to show you in a certain topic, and by the end of this, you'll be able to do this yourself in about 5 minutes. Um, Everything I show you is inside Promptify, and the link is in my bio, and it's also free to start. So for today, um, so build a calm next action system for your work notes. Um, that could be very simple, or maybe this is something um, that would be helpful to you, right? Uh, and here's the thing, right? I'll get into it, but like when I say the word calm, let's well, I'm gonna assume that you don't have the issue with procrastination when it comes to something you know you have to do. But if you see, let's say that you put a lot of time and energy into things, and maybe you follow a checklist, or maybe you just know what to do, but there's times you could literally see something. If you don't, let's say you don't have it organized a certain way, maybe it's not in checklist format, and you see or know what the next step is, and it could kind of feel a little bit, maybe I'm not speaking on anyone's behalf, or maybe I am for some people, right? But they still follow through and do this, but they still follow through and do what they have to do, but it can appear draining to literally see what the next step is. Oh, the next step could be literally something that requires an hour or many hours of mentally draining work to do, and you see that, and maybe you want to structure that in a way and word it in a way, which could really just be a mental shift. Maybe you just rename that as something else. Maybe you chop it up into sections and take your time with it so it's not draining you so much. I don't know, but what happens is the reason we put calm is, uh let's make this as easy and simple as possible for you and your own brain, right? So from your work, so build a calm next action system from your work notes. Um, so just give an example. So uh, let's say a 10-minute workflow. Excuse me. Let's for example demonstrate a repeatable 10-minute workflow that turns work noise into an inspectable daily plan, accurate acknowledgement, decision brief, update, and boundary. Um, Not an AI decided schedule. It really is an AI decided schedule, but you have all these parameters that are applicable to you and assisting you specifically, right? So it will help you more than anything, right? So, an example, here's the finished workday board: 5 actions, 1 decision, 1 update, and 1 boundary. I made it from the same messy notes in under 10 minutes. Um, and I did not let AI invent what matters. You can let it, or you could maybe have it give you some options and then you sort it out based on what you know, or maybe you just already know and you want to make sure that it has what actually matters to you, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off the steps of how this would work, and then I'm actually going to put a prompt on the screen showcasing this, and then the results that we get for that prompt, right? So show the completed dashboard. Uh, uh, excuse me. So your work lives in email, notes, and half finished messages. This is a calmer way to turn it into next actions. So show the raw input. Excuse me. So re- display a redacted inbox dump, one project note, a decision request, um, and a rush deck request. Um, so I'm so like I said, I'm gonna show the prompt after that will just have all this stuff, but I'm just kind of explaining out. I'm showing what you would have, and then I'm just putting a description on it or like a some sort of solution on what we're gonna do with this information. So I just said display a redacted inbox dump, one project note, decision request, and a rush deck request. Only if these things apply to you. So this is just an example. You'd fill in what things actually apply to you, right? So now the goal is not to automate judgment. It is to make the work visible so you can use yours. So, um, so basically, so now it's time to build the next actions. So, so what's going to happen is keep only stated deadlines. Anything without a priority gets a label, not a fake ranking. So even if it goes into the, we'll get back to this later, and maybe even write the date that you'll and time you'll get back to it, so that you make sure you try to sort these out and make sure that they're somewhere that makes sense, because maybe they're not important now, but they could be important later, or you need to just have them sorted in some way, shape, or form. Um, and then so then it show the list and manually move an item. So you'll so basically I'm narrating like what I would do in this process, right? So I have the list of these things and then I'm moving them around, right? So all right, so next thing is reply without guessing. So a helpful acknowledgement says that I received um, the next check I will make. So it never manufactures a delivery date. So so what happens is you're like very much putting time and structure on every single step. So like let's say that um, you're acknowledging that you receive the next thing you're going to check up on, and then uh, I put it never manufactures a delivery date. So you said you acknowledge that you received it. Maybe you get back to them about when you're going to deliver, right? But uh, you're instead of just saying instead of they send something and then you just send something back when you do. You say, "Okay, I got this. I'll get back to you." Right? You're being very certain and very detailed with every single step. No, all I did was receive this, and maybe you could say when you'll get back to them, or you say I received this. I'll get back to you about when I'm gonna send this back to you. Right. Um. Next thing. So I have some messy notes here. So make a decision brief. So this makes a choice easier for the person who owns it. So um, it does not choose for them. You reveal 4 concise cards, or however many is applicable. You however many. This is for this example, but you give them the list of decisions that they can have regarding this thing, right? So send a status update. Um, this is the exact format I use when a stakeholder needs a scan, not a story. Um, so here's the things that it would address. There's things that are done. There's things that are active, and then there's things that you need from others. And then check the launch date and the legal blocker. So next point, and this will make sense when I show the prompt or whatever. It's gonna not use all the wording I use, but it will just show this like formatted in a way where it's just fluently showing everything, right? So next thing is protect focus. So a boundary is strongest when it offers a real path forward. I replaced the placeholder with the timing I can actually honor. So you're just being very, very clear um, about what you're gonna do and the timing regarding it, right? So next thing would be review every deadline, review every owner, and review every promise. Delete anything you cannot support. Kind of like I was saying in prior videos when I'm talking about, like, this is not onboarding, but it's not even just with onboarding. Any type of agreement, you have to be very clear about what you can do and can't do. And if there's something you can't do, you shouldn't even actually have that there if you're not sure you can, because once the thing or project or whatever starts, now money's on the line, now agreements are on the line. So you shouldn't be agreeing to something you can't do, or else that's going to cost you. Because if it doesn't work out and you didn't do what you're supposed to do, even though you said you could, now that's an issue regarding, like, for example, if you provide a product or service and you say you could do something, and they say, all right, cool, and they sign and pay, and then you don't follow through and do that thing, and they ask for a refund, now you actually need to give them that refund, because you shouldn't have actually said that you could follow through and do a certain thing if you couldn't, right? You should only sign on what you can do, or you should only even mention what you can do. So you're very certain on all these things, very certain on deadlines. All that has to be in place. Whoever owns or has responsible for each thing, that needs to be in place, and promises need to be in place. Blah blah blah. So delete anything you cannot support. Then you have a plan that is both faster and more trustworthy. Um, you're only delivering what you know you can for a fact. So now what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to post a prompt on the screen so you could just see this. Um, all right. So, okay, so here's a funny thing. So for this one, the prompts are going to be what I actually did for all the short forms. So just going to show all that in order. All right, so you ready? I'm going to flip to the screen. Oops. Accidentally clicked on something, so let me get out of that. I'm going to flip to the screen and showcase all the prompts, and then I'm just going to read them in order. I'm going to read the prompt, um, fill in all the blanks, and then I'll just show you the result afterwards, right? So the top, and this is, so all these prompts are actually addressing this long form content piece that that I'm using. The short forms actually narrate the entire thing. So, and that's also why the steps were so long. I was actually addressing all these. So I'll just read it. So turn these work notes into a next action list. Use only actions explicitly mentioned. Keep any stated deadlines. If priority is not stated, label it. Choose order. Now, sorry for the symbols. Like, as I said yesterday, if you see those, that's because I need to download WinRAR so that when I unpack files, um, so what happens is when I download some files off of Promptify, I extract them into notepads, and then it brings these weird little symbols. But if I had WinRAR or something to unpack the file, it wouldn't have done that. So that's my fault. I'm going to read the next part. So the notes that it's for talking about is send Q3 numbers to Maya by 3 p.m. This is just an example. This is not in regards to me, but it's the example being used. Um, Design review it. Excuse me. Design review is Thursday. Need access from Sam. Ideas for the webinar. Follow up with the printer. So this right here is regarding this exact prompt. So this is aka this is the next action checklist regarding the actual notes, and you can see. So as the notes feel free to pause, rewind, or whatever. The notes I just read. So you see these notes in the second line. That's regarding this. So that's the next action list, right? So the next prompt is write a 2-sentence acknowledgement to this email. State what I have received. Do not propose a date or outcome that is not confirmed. End with one specific next update I can make after checking. And the email is, can you confirm whether the printed guidelines will arrive before our Friday event? So here's the answer to that prompt. So this is the 2-sentence acknowledgement to this email that I've received, and it does not promise a date or outcome that is not confirmed. And it ends with one specific next update I can make after checking. I'm going to scroll down to the next one. So it says, turn this request into a one screen decision brief. Use only the details provided. Include decision needed options, what each option changes, and the decision owner. Do not recommend an option. And the request is, we can publish the guide on Monday with the current screenshots or wait for the product update next week. So Jordan needs to decide because support needs notice either way. So here we have, this is the quote unquote one screen decision brief. Scrolling and showing that. It uses only the details provided. It includes the decision needed, the options, what each option changes, and decision owner. And it does not recommend an option, right? So there you see the decision needed, the option, so these are the published dates, and the name of the decision order for the example, right? So the next is format these project notes as a concise weekly update. Use headings, and the headings are done, in progress, or the headings are done. The next one is in progress. The next is need from others. And it does not add progress claims or dates, not in the notes. So the landing page copy approved. So the notes is landing page copy approved. Design has started. The email waiting on legal review for the comparison chart, and draft launch date is September 8th. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and it as I explained, if it formatted these project notes into concise weekly update. So there's the categories done, in progress, and need from others, and it sorted them out. So from the notes, so they're all sorted out. So done is a landing page copy approved, as that sentence actually says that it's done. In progress, the design has started. The email and draft launch date is September 8th. So those are things that are not done yet. Obviously, let's just assume September 8th is, if it says the launch date is September 8th, and let's say that they saw this email before, then that obviously that's in progress. And then need from others, the legal review for the comparison chart. So that sentence kind of says that, well, if a legal review is needed for a comparison chart, you probably don't have it yet. Or AKA in the sentence, it says waiting on the legal review, obviously. So that's what I meant by that. And then the last prompt is draft a warm, concise boundary reply to this request. Offer one realistic response path and one option for a truly urgent need. So keep dates as placeholders unless I provide them. And the request is, can you look at this deck today? it is 42 slides and I need feedback before I send it. So I'm going to scroll out and show the prompt. So what happens is this is the AKA drafted a warm, concise boundary reply to this request. It offers one realistic response path and one option for a truly urgent need. And it keeps dates as placeholders unless I provide them. So the email says, thanks for sending this over. I can review it, but I can't commit to reviewing all 42 slides today. The realistic path is for you to send the key slides or sections you most need feedback on, and if there's a truly urgent issue, send that specific section first. All right, so AKA, just say it again. What that did was that's drafting a warm, concise boundary reply to the request. What the boundaries are the things that you can and cannot do based on how much time you have. So you're being respectful and telling them how you can help with the amount of time you have regarding this information that they're giving you. You offered one realistic response path, and then in one option for a truly urgent need. So when you said I can review it, but I can't commit to reviewing all 42 slides today, the realistic path is for you to send the key slides or sections you need most. You most need feedback on. That's the realistic response path, and then the next part is you said if there's a truly urgent issue, send that specific section first. So that right there was basically the truly urgent need, or that was the one option for a truly urgent need, and you said you cannot commit to viewing all 42 slides today, and that's basically you. That's not keeping dates as placeholders unless you provide them, but you couldn't provide a date. So you basically just said what you can do as soon as possible and what you have time for, right? So that's kind of addressing the timing. Now, blah, blah, blah about all that. What I do want to say real quick is what was I going to say? So here's the thing. So if you would like access to high quality prompts like this and more, you can find them inside Promptify. It's free to start and the link is in the bio. Now, if anything I said today was helpful, that is amazing. And I hope you have a great day.